A 2014 Hyundai Accent, about 150,000 kilometers. What's that, 90,000 miles? Direct injection, so cleaning the back of the valves. And I'm also changing the spark plugs, but I'm not going to do that until I clean the valves, because I want the valves cleaned. I don't want all that crap that gets blown off by cleaning the valves to stick to the new spark plugs. So the old ones that are in there will stay in there until this is done. Car's been warmed up, driven up and down the road until it's at operating temperature. And then we're going to pull off the top engine cover, which has 4 little plastic things that fit on these 4 little ball socket pins, 2 in the front and 2 in the back. And we want to find a nice vacuum line. Oh, there's PCV right there. And we're going to be using seafoam. Back in 1 second. Seafoam. Okay, so on this car, I'm just going to unhook the PCV. A little spring clip at the back on the manifold for the valve cover. Wow, that was on there. A little bit of suction. And I am going to pour slowly and gently, keeping the engine from stalling. Don't stall. And I poured about almost 1/3 of the can. I'm going to pour a little bit more and stall out the engine with it, hopefully. Oh, this sucker doesn't want to stall out. I'm turning it off. Well, the reason you do that is you want the seafoam to get onto the back of the valves. With a direct injection engine, no fuel goes in past the valve. It goes straight into the cylinder, into the combustion chamber, and the back of the valve never gets a chance to get cleaned off, and that's where a lot of carbon can build up. So the seafoam will go in there, go in with the air that does go past the valve, and get that carbon that's on the back of the valve. And now we're just going to leave it for about 15 minutes and let it soak in. I'm gonna put the rest of this can in the gas tank. Back in a minute. Okay, it's been 15 minutes letting that soak in. Time to start and see the smoke show everybody wants to see. If you haven't used seafoam before, smoke will come out of every exhaust orifice. It just does. Doesn't mean your exhaust system's leaking, doesn't mean your exhaust system is toast. It just will. Be a little chuggy at first. Let it idle for a second. And yes, the check engine light will usually not be happy. You can see the smoke pouring in. Now, if I want to rev the crap out of it and smoke out the whole neighborhood, I can. But now I'm going to rev it a little bit more. Why not? Calls the fire department. So I'm going to let that idle for about 10-15 minutes and let it work its way through, and then we will swap the spark plugs out. Okay, spark plug time. We wanted to wait for the engine to cool down. I don't want to be taking plugs out of an aluminum head when they're hot. So these are coil on plug. Should be a 10 mil. Oh, it's too long. Let me get another one. Back one sec. Okay, I also pulled the PVC hose just to get to the one plug at the end of the 10 mil on it. Oops. Now you can do these one at a time if you're not sure where the coils are going to go, but they, I mean, they come out in order, so there's no mistaking them. Unplug the EGR. Don't let me forget to plug that back in. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Long extension. 5/8, which is the smaller of the two spark plug sizes, the two regular spark plug sizes. Oh, this extension might be too long. No, I need a slightly shorter one. One sec. Your spark plug wrench, make sure your plastic or your rubber boot inside is in there, because that's what holds the spark plug in there. Loosen all 4. And then cheat and use power to take them out. Wow. That's a weird looking plug, huh? Long, long nose on it. 1. 2. 3. 4. before. They all look about the same as in terms of wear and sootiness and stuff. A lot of that sootiness is from the seafoam just now. Back in 1 second. Let's compare a new plug to the old one. These are Denso Iridiums. These aren't that bad. For gap, they didn't really open up too much. So this is why you want your rubber boot, because it holds the plug in there gently so you don't touch the electrode. Change the gap. You can wiggle turn, meaning you wiggle it and turn it and it will go, the threads will catch. So I'll screw all 4 of those in by hand and we'll be back in a second. Okay, so all 4 are hand tightened in, just with the extension. Now, I always figure the proper torque is approximately when I'm holding my hand. Can you see that? I think you can. You'll hold your hand on the wrench and you turn from in here, not putting all the torque out here, and about as hard as you can turn with your wrist. So again, choke up on the ratchet. And that should be about 20 foot-pounds. Do not put anti-seize or any of that stuff on plugs. People did that 40, 50 years ago, 30 years ago, to keep plugs from sticking inside the cylinder head and tearing out the threads. New plugs have a coating from the factory. All new plugs have a coating from the factory, especially iridiums that are meant to be in your car for 150, 160,000 kilometers. They have an anti-seize coating on them from the factory, and it will not interfere with the ground, because your spark plug needs to be grounded. You put stuff on here, you put some kind of grease or lubricant on here, you can interfere with the ground to the engine block. So anyway, we're gonna pop these caps back on and be almost done. One. Two. And these are probably on at about 8 foot-pounds, these little bolts. You don't have to tighten them very much. EGR. PCV. do is put our little engine cover on and we are done. Thanks for watching.